technically iron them or something like that. So he's rewrapped the box in his baseball card exchange, and says that they are authentic and they have not been even moved around. Correct?
Exactly, that's correct. These are unsearched, unsearched original 86 Fleer wax boxes. We actually now expect the single box lot, we expect to sell between 80 and 85,000. And I say that, but it wouldn't shock me if it hit 100. And I'll tell you why in a second. The 3-box lot, we expect to go anywhere between 200,000 and $250,000, and we've got 2 of those lots. So that these little 7 boxes, we're talking probably 600,000. Here's the punchline: we had an auction for one of these cards. This is the holy grail. This is the 86 Fleer Jordan PSA 10 rookie card. Okay.
How many are there out there?
Oh God, there's probably. I should have looked at the pop report. I think there's over 910.
Right,
so it's
right.
It's not based. This is one of those cases where the price is not based on rarity. The price is based purely on demand. And the demand on this is not just in the United States. I could literally sell 200 of these into China tomorrow if I had 200 PSA 10s, because basketball is worldwide and Jordan is worldwide. But here's the kicker. In November, we auctioned off one of these cards for like $37,000, I think, in November. Right now, the auction, we have one of these in this current auction.
It's at 30.
It's already at 30 with 4 weeks to go. The last one sold for 48,000. This one may go for over $50,000. And this is a card. Nothing's happened. I mean, this is that you're talking about the Last Dance, the documentary, and this is part of the demand. It's got people so excited that everybody's buying Jordan product. But I never in a million years did I think that you can have a card like this go up 25-30% in value.
So many years
17
later,
years after the guy retired.
Right. So many years later. And I mean, even if you look at, I mean, everything is going up with Jordan, but in the last 2 weeks, a PSA 1, the lowest grade of that card, was about $800. And it's like 50. Good luck finding it for less than 1,500. Let's see what else you have coming up in this auction. I want to get to that exquisite card that you have.
Sure. So this is exquisite.
Hold it up a little higher. Yeah.
There you go. So this is known as an emblem of excellence. This was a limited edition card of 15. You can see it's graded a 9 on the back. There's the autograph grade is a 10, and it's got those are actual patches.
Right, and I say, so what a big deal. Okay, the Jordan autograph, like it's $1,000, and there's a piece of a jersey. There's a couple pieces of jersey, but it's numbered to 15. I mean, this is one of the things in this industry where I've been like, what is going on here?
Okay, this card is currently at $110,000. Okay, it likely will exceed $200,000. And keep in mind, this card is from the set. I'm sure you all read about where we sold at Golden Auctions a LeBron James, Michael Jordan dual card, no autograph, a piece of a jersey, a piece of the logo, the NBA logo. It's called a logo man. So you see right there on your screen, your little logo on your jersey, the logo from Jordan's jersey and the logos from LeBron's jersey, and then the pictures of the guys.
That was $225 or $325?
That was $900,000 we sold that card for.
Oh, God.
That is the most valuable card ever sold. $900,000 for that card.
For a modern card. Let me get to I want to move. Let me get to Game Used shoes. Now, I had always been told that, like, if you go back too far, there's crazy disintegration in the foam and stuff like that. How are things? Let me. What do you have for this auction?
Let's see what they gave me. Okay, so this is okay. So they didn't give me. My office didn't give me. These are a pair of signed band shoes. I don't know why it says retro.
Okay, so those are the retro that came out. It's not the 85.
So these are not the Game Used ones. They didn't give me the Game Used shoes.
Okay, so that's
the Game Used sneakers. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Signed
that happens a lot with the Jordan. That happens a lot with sneakers. We also have in the auction. We have 2 or 3 pair of Game Used Jordans in the auction.
Oh, I love that piece. This is the warm up. This is the 80.
Yeah, this is the warm up. So this is.
Yeah, I want to bid on that.
Okay, and then.
Now, how do you know? Or is that photo matched? How do you know he wore that on his body?
Well, this one, these things are tough to photo match because it's a warm up. but this is Mears certified, and you have to look at the wear. You have to make sure there's even wear. You have to make sure the tagging is all original. You have to make sure the name in the back is original, that it's not like anything was removed, that this was placed after the fact. And they're pretty good at.
But that goes for a little bit less than. I mean, with the Jordan jerseys, you either want to get it from the Charitables, the Bulls when they were those, or you need it. So if you get a letter or know it from a specific game, forget about it, right?
Yeah, the best thing is the pedigree would be a photo match jersey, which means that they, one of the professional photo match companies literally has done a video match and they've screenshot it and they can tell that this is the exact jersey that Jordan won on the exact game. And the most valuable Jordan jerseys that have ever been sold have been photo matched. We sold his last Bulls game jersey for $175,000. I wish I had that. That was like 3.5 years ago. I wish I had that back. That'd be about $400,000 now. We sold a playoff jersey for about $180,000, and we've sold multiple others. The next pedigree below that would be one with a Bulls letter of authenticity that cannot be photo matched. Now, if you get it from the Bulls, just because it cannot be photo matched does not mean it was an authentic game used jersey. It just means there was nothing identifying that happened in that particular game or enough screenshots to be able to match the jersey to that game.
You also have a signed like set of pictures from the early days. Is that?
Yeah, we've got. I've got this piece right here, an early Jordan signature on. Can you guys see that good?
Yeah. So that the one on the right, the picture on the right, all the way to the right, is actually. That was the PR photo. Let's see if Ken knows this. That was the PR photo that ProServe, Jordan's agency, gave out to people.
Yep, David Falk. I remember negotiating. I went before you got Upper Deck coming on next. This guy probably wasn't with the company back then, but in 1993, I drove down to ProServe with John Thompson III, who was my director of player relations, and we met with David Falk, and we pitched my old company Scoreboard on why Jordan should sign an exclusive. Actually, no, it was 92. 92 signed exclusive with us as opposed to Upper Deck, and then of course Upper Deck had the trading card deal, so he ended up signing with Upper Deck. This is, speaking of autograph, this is really a cool piece.
Oh yeah, I love that. Now is that a full issue or just the cover?
This is a giant. Look at the size of this. This is
it's a giant cover.
So this is blown up. And it's signed by Jordan,
Sam Perkins, and Jordan.
Jordan.
That's
Perkins,
his first. That was his first,
and the entire team. It's signed by the entire team as well.
Pick that up a little bit bigger.
Paul, move out of the way for a second. Okay, that is my son Paul, who's a big basketball fan.
Hey, we allow in quarantine. We allow families, although my family hasn't showed up yet. That's also pretty cool. That's MJ's first Sports Illustrated cover.
Yeah,
and he's been on more Sports Illustrated covers than ever. Where do you think this market goes after this doc? I mean, what's going to happen?
I mean, Jordan is to basketball what Babe Ruth is to baseball. Every year, if you look, the most valuable item ever sold of any sports memorabilia is Ruth's jersey. Okay, the most valuable bat is a Ruth bat. The only reason the Ruth card isn't the most valuable card ever sold is because you got the Wagner. But every time there's a memorabilia record broken, it's Babe Ruth. And his legacy, he's the guy who's been dead for 72 years. It's been 100 years, over 100 years since he made his debut. But it keeps escalating. Every single year, it's such an iconic name. Jordan is the one name in basketball. He was the first. He was the groundbreaker. He was not only the first worldwide phenomenon in basketball and sports, but he was the first worldwide marketer. He was the first major person to break out of the shell, just being contained in a sport, to represent Gatorade, to represent Nike, to get his own shoe brand. So I personally think that 5 years from now, the Michael Jordan prices across the board will be higher than they are today. And 10 years from now, they will be higher than they are 5 years from now, because it's a legacy. He's the type of individual, and his items are the type of items that people want to save and they want to hand down to their kids.
Ken Golden, goldenauctions.com. When does the auction close?
The auction is live now, and it closes Saturday, May 16th. We've got over 1,800 lots.
Wow. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Wait,
Ken,
Paul.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Darren. Have a great night.
All right. And next is going to be Tim Duell, the Director of Talent Relations at Upper Deck. Upper Deck has had Michael Jordan for a very long time, and their authenticated program, make sure that when you have that hologram of Michael Jordan's signature, it is Upper Deck authenticated. So Tim is going to join us to talk about what it's been like over the past decade. Tim has been with him through every signing. So that's obviously big. You look at, everyone talks about Harmon Killebrew and the way he signs, some of the greatest signers. Jordan's signature is unreal. You feel that when you get Jordan's signature, you feel that it's a value. So I think it's amazing that Jordan's signature has continued to stay as good as it has over the years. It's pretty amazing. And we see Tim. We got to get him to turn on his volume, and we're good to go. Tim, give me your volume, and we're ready to go.
Darren, how you doing?
I got you.
Great. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for joining us. I see you got some Jordan pieces in the back. Now, tell me, let's talk about, obviously you guys have a ton of athletes. Roll down some of those names for me.
Yeah, thanks, Darren. I started with Upper Deck in 1996, so I've definitely seen a good number of our spokespeople come in. Obviously it's, Michael was Upper Deck's first spokesperson. We signed him in kind of the back end of 1991, maybe 1992. And right at the start of when Upper Deck launched that first NBA trading card set, 1991-92 basketball. So that kind of set into motion, that followed by the Upper Deck Authenticated division, which was launched within just a couple years. And that obviously had a lot of legendary baseball players, but moving forward into today, obviously, there's Wayne Gretzky with Michael and Tiger Woods and LeBron, Serena Williams. Then you kind of have the new regime, so to speak, with Connor McDavid and Ben Simmons and those type of players. So
how do you deal with the demand for Jordan? Like, how do people buy his pieces? Do you guys, I know sometimes do you do it wholesale? Do people buy it off the site? And then how do you deal with the actual demand?
Well, sure. Upper Deck does offer our full portfolio through a wholesale model. That is, if you're a collector, you can call our customer service and we can direct you to the nearest shop. If you want to see the pieces in person, they are very impressive pieces. If you go to the Upper Deck store website, you'll see some of what I'm talking about and like the pieces behind us. But like you said, it is a control of what's out in the market and a monitoring of what's out there. Michael, thankfully, he's been with Upper Deck for almost 30 years now, right? So I think that was the path, and that's kind of the model that others followed after, to show what, I find it important and I tell our young players a lot to stick with the partner and maintain it through your playing career and off into retirement. And obviously that's what Upper Deck's done. We've been honored to be trusted with that and feel we've done a pretty good job of positioning him there.
What's it like being at a Jordan signing? I mean, his signature is flawless. Does he have a couple mistakes and you have to throw out some basketballs? Does he stop? I'm always interested in the habits of a signer. So what is Michael like?
Sure. Well, Michael is you wouldn't expect anything less from how he operates in other areas of his life, and it's really no different here. He's very gracious, and people ask me this question a lot, and he's punctual. He communicates. It's not as some people would think, where he shows up and he works really hard at it, and he does this for his fans, and I take pride in making sure when he shows up that everything is in as long as everything kind of in order and, prepared well for him, he goes right through and does a very good job, takes it very serious. And like you said, as you see in the pieces behind me, if you go to our store site, you can see the different substrates and sizes. But I'll show you one piece here. This happens to be an employee gift that they gave Upper Deck employees about 7 years ago, if the glare doesn't show. But the reason I show you that is he's able to sign anywhere from, say, 3/4 of an inch up into 4 feet, like the showpiece behind me. And
it's in the same, it's like in the same ratio.
Yeah,
that's
he's
incredible.
Able to yes. Where with all due respect, I do work with a lot of players, and there are struggles on maintaining that ratio that you mentioned, size pieces to piece. And I think his basketball, his regular basketball is one of the best you could possibly see for that example of putting just a consistent from autograph one to autograph. The last one of the day is done, in the same consistency.
So I know that he won't sign Sports Illustrated because of the Sports Illustrated headline, "Bag It Michael," which was to kind of end his baseball career. Is there other things that he won't sign or things that he prefers to sign? I assume he signs off on all the pieces before he signs it. What's the approval process like?
Sure. It's pretty smooth. You learn over the years, and you come into somewhat of a flow with that and know what's acceptable and what's not. And look, all players have those, Tiger, for example, does not sign golf balls, right?
Right.
So there are certain things that, you mentioned the SI covers. I wasn't aware of that detail, but for the most part, it's, if the image is right, and he's put in a favorable light, it's usually pretty good, then you get into the multi-sign pieces as well, and who that's paired with. So
right. He needs to be paired with obviously excellence.
In his peer group, and he's and he's okay with signing like for the Birds and the Magics and the Dr. peers from his era. It's different, when you try to start comparing maybe Michael to today's stars.
Right.
Where
will he sign a LeBron?
It's more, I think he prefers to stick within his era. It's nothing against any current player. That's really what that's based on. So,
Tim, thanks so much for joining us. I really love this perspective, and you guys have put out an incredible product with Jordan over the past almost 30 years. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
All right. Next up is Leighton Sheldon of Just Collect and Vintage Breaks. We're going to bring him on soon. These guys have opened up the 1986, 87 packs of Fleer, and it's been unbelievable to see where people can actually get a piece of a pack, because these packs are now selling for $2,000 a piece. So I mean, it's unreal to see these packs and what they've been. Again, they couldn't get rid of them. It's like the 1952 Topps story where they put these Topps cards on a barge, and that became like the Mickey Mantle card because there was such scarcity. You couldn't get these 86, 87 Fleer things sold anywhere. They were at gas stations. So unbelievable to see what they've done. And Leighton's company gives people a chance to get one card in a pack. And he's going to tell us about that. Leighton and I also have a very unique piece of Michael Jordan memorabilia that we own together. So when Leighton gets his act together and gets on here, we're gonna talk about that piece. I think it's in the archives. I'm not sure he has it in person, but I guess I'll start by telling you that story. Leighton and I were at the National this past year, and we saw a piece that was just unreal. It was Charlie Sheen. There he is.
Hey guys.
You hear me? Wow, look at your quarantine fro.
Absolutely. Oh my God, what am I going to do?
It looks amazing.
Can we measure it? Let's see.
I was talking about our Charlie Sheen piece.
Oh, well, you mean the one that's right here?
Oh, you got it?
Yep.
Okay, so let's show this piece. We're dual owners of this.
Hold on a second. Get it to the camera.
There you go. So it's a picture of there's a picture of Charlie Sheen and Michael Jordan. And then there's the Forum ticket. Charlie Sheen was sitting courtside. And then show the phone number.
This is crazy.
This is crazy.
I haven't.
Jordan signs it.
Yep.
And gives his address and home phone number. God, that is a piece.
Yeah, and you know what's great, Darren, is as soon as you checked it out, you know, you got me on the phone. I think you texted me, and you know, basically, you're like, "Hey, man, we got to get this piece. What do you think?" And so it was the kind of thing where I'm glad you said that, because if not, I feel like I would have been trying to fence you off for it. But
yeah, we would have fought over it.
Yeah, I think so. I like how you have the whole, like, not just your Bull stuff on, but you know, all I have is like plain window stuff behind me.
I got shoes. I got a Jordan painting right here.
I love it.
So wait, let's talk about Vintage Breaks, your great company that allows people to get a piece of a pack, and let's talk about 86, 87 Fleer, because it's like, man, you would know the costs of a pack over the years for that Jordan rookie. Like, you started this business like 2 years ago, the opening of packs?
Yeah, just over 2 years ago.
What could you get an 86, 87 Fleer pack for then?
Oh, I would say probably between $1,000 and $1,250.
And now it's at like 2, right?
Yep, 2,000. I would say they're actively selling. So once again, the reason why we want them, Darren, is we want to open the packs on VintageBreaks.com, and we give people the chance to buy just one card in that pack. So you could buy a few cards, you could buy one card. At this point, we've pulled no less than, I'd say, a half dozen Jordans out of 1986 Fleer packs.
I was there for 3 of them.
Years. Yes, you were. You were there for 50% of the population.
Now, when you pull them out, what are your chances normally? Obviously, they've been in a box for 35 years.
Sure. So let's talk about the chances first. There's 13 cards in the pack, and there's 132 cards in the set. So I don't have a calculator because I'm trying to, you know, get my, you know, everything situated here so you can see me without looking up at my chin.
Right.
But, you know, basically the point is, in a box of cards of 36 packs, you're going to get between 3 and 4 Jordans, plus the Jordan stickers. So the reality of it is, you're probably going to get between 6 and 7 Jordans and Jordan rookie stickers in a box.
And stickers are basically like, so a 10 Jordan right now might go for 35. A 10 sticker might go for 5.
So a 10 sticker is more like 15, 20.
Oh, okay.
And there's a Jordan PSA 10 rookie at the regular one that ends at auction tonight that's already at 45,000.
Oh my God! So this is the perfect night to end an auction.
Yeah, the auction. It is so fluid right now. It's amazing, and there's actually a few packs which I'm going to try to plan to win for VintageBreaks.com. That can offer a few packs by the card, so that we can offer folks an opportunity. Think about it, right, Darren? That's what's so cool about Vintage Breaks. You'd have to spend a few $1,000s to get a pack, whereas if you were going to just buy one card, you're talking about a couple $100. You know, for a chance of a Jordan rookie that could be worth $45,000.
You're slowing down for me.
$50,000.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. A little bit better. So how much would it be in a pack for? So just quickly say how it works. So basically, I want to try to win a Jordan.
So you would buy one card. Yeah. You would buy one card in a pack of 1986 Fleer basketball from our website, VintageBreaks.com, for about $200. Now, the price is fluid, but for today, let's say it's $200 for a card, and we will not open the pack, folks. And since we do, then we randomize all the names right in front of everyone on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/vintagebreaks. And as soon as that's done, we open the pack live for you to watch. And as you were saying, Darren, you've been a part of no less than 3 Jordans with us, and we've pulled at least 6 plus a handful of stickers. We've not got a 10 yet, but we've got several 9s. And the original 9 from pack 19 is still with me in the office because the person who won it allows us to show it off at conventions.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So one item I did want to show off for these Jordan nuts is, I don't know how well you can see it.
Yeah, that's the 85 playoff guide.
Yeah, which is his rookie year, Darren.
Right.
So it's 84, 85. So his first year playoffs was in actually 85.
Yeah, the Bulls were awful the couple years before that.
Yep. So they somehow squeaked into the playoffs, and it's perplexed me for years, but it looks like it was not a player media guide for the playoffs. It looks like that particular version was given to the media itself, meaning if it was actually given to a player and then Jordan signed it, it would have been even more valuable versus it was a media guide that
Oh,
was
that's
just
cool.
given to someone in the actual media.
So
But
my
it's
last
still-
question to you is,
Yes.
you are buying vintage cards. Like, where does the Jordan rookie stand right now in relation to a vintage baseball card? Like, what is 35, 40, 50,000 in a 10?
Sure. Meaning, what could you get for that equivalent in baseball cards?
Uh-huh.
Sure. So I would say for that, you could get a 52 Mantle in a nice 5, let's say. The ones you were talking that were thrown in the ocean.
Right.
You could get a Clemente rookie in, let's say, about an 8, depending on the centering of the card. So you could get an all-time great. But what I think's happening, Darren, in the industry is the Mantles, the Roos, and such, they still are great. But now you have folks that are 30, 40 years old with real money, and they want to own a Jordan rookie. That's the bottom line.
Right. Yeah, Jordan's the hero for everyone. That's the thesis.
Look what I found in the office today. I was cleaning up, looking for Jordan stuff, and I found all these Michael Jordans.
You just found all the Jordans like that?
Well, they were in a deal that I bought a couple years ago. You could read about all the collections we buy on our blog at justcollect.com/blog. But we're constantly hunting for vintage cards, basketball, football, whatever the case is. And sometimes it's from the 50s, sometimes it's from the 80s, especially when it's Michael Jordan.
So even though this is like someone's going to buy that Jordan on eBay tonight for a record, the 10, and congratulations to the person who timed that thing out. But do you think 5 years from now we're going to say that's cheap?
So
or you don't know? You're a very measured guy.
Yeah,
so.
I would say you don't know. I think it's about supply and demand. And the one thing I've been talking about with fellow, if you will, card dealers and folks in the industry and even hobbyists, Darren, it's a very interesting place if you took economics in college, right, that graph, where I actually believe that even though there's a lot of supply, the demand is far outweighing the supply right now. Will that continue? I don't know. But if there was no sports and there was only Bulls documentaries, I would definitely tell you.
Leighton, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. What do you got?
And then figure out how you want to give this away. But we're going to give away this 1988 Fleer Michael Jordan All-Star card in near mint condition.
Oh,
to,
nice.
One of your fans.
Thank you. What's the value of that around?
About $75.
Nice.
Ungraded.
Hey, I like anything free.
Yeah, so do I. And if they want to get it graded, we'll grade it for them on the house. All they have to do is reach out to us at vintagebreaks.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Leighton.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Darren.
All right. So if you are rejoining us, if you've been here since the beginning, this is the Action Network's broadcast of the Michael Jordan memorabilia, the business of memorabilia. I just got a text from our next guest. I'm trying to get through. What do you need? Our next guest is Jordy Geller, who is, at one point, I think he sold off a lot of it, but the biggest collector of Nike shoes. And he has a Air Jordan 1 used, signed by Jordan. He has some other things he sold in the past. He sold those Moon shoes, the first Nike shoes. So we are trying to get Jordy. Ev, see if you can email Jordy, see if he can get in. But I mean, listen, I think that the Jordan memorabilia market is going to continue to skyrocket. You wonder if people think LeBron is cheap and they go more to LeBron. We will see here. Hold on, we're just getting. So he says nothing is popping up. So yeah, so we're gonna have Jordy, and then we're gonna have Mike Glassbrenner, who has a awesome letter that we found. But no, I think people are going to watch this documentary, and you're going to see. I mean, that is amazing. By the way, the PSA 10. I was in the at the National in Chicago 2 years ago, and the PSA 10 for the Jordan was 15,000, and I thought that was completely nuts. And I thought it was because they were in Chicago, and now look, it's doubled. So pretty unreal. I don't know if I'd buy tonight. Tonight might be the ultimate height of the height. But that would certainly be be big. But again, I don't know if it's the quarantine. I don't know if it's we haven't had sports, but there was a palpable excitement in the air today, all day today, about this documentary. And I think No Sports contributes to it. We are so hungry for something, and it's going to be great. Watch my Twitter feed, watch the Action Network Twitter feed. We got a lot of good stuff. I've prepared for hours. There's things in there. There's photos you've never seen. I've kind of tried to be a pop-up video to what ESPN is doing. Someone asked me, how did they get all this footage? How did the documentary actually come together? And I read Ramona Shelburne's incredible story at ESPN, where she said that Adam Silver, who was then the head of NBA Entertainment in 97, 98, basically made a deal and said, hey, let us shoot you, and Michael Jordan, you have ultimate control. And here we are 22 years later. Okay, Jordy Geller is here. Wait till I need to see his face, and I need to see his volume, and then I'll know. Jordy and I have been friends for a really long time. He's an incredible Nike collector, an incredible historian, and his shoe collection is second to none. So as soon as I see his face and I see his volume up, we'll get him in. But yeah, no, so Jordan did have control over this for all these years, and God, I can't imagine what the dollars are. There he is.
Yes.
You're in.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you.
What's going on?
How are you, Darren?
How psyched are you for tonight?
Very, very excited.
I mean, this is like for all us. I mean, we're pretty much the same age. For all us Nike geeks and Jordan geeks, this is like the ultimate, especially after No Sports.
Yes, it couldn't come at a better time.
So tell me about your Jordan collections over the years. And I know you've sold some stuff. Tell me about how you got stuff and sold stuff over the years.
So I've been in the sneaker industry for 20 years. For a long time, I was a reseller. About 10 years ago, I opened the Shoeseum, which was the world's first sneaker museum. In the Shoeseum, I had every single Air Jordan Retro that Nike ever released in every single color.
And when you say that, it's not like the one retro. If they ever released it again, if they released it like 4 times, right? You had it.
It was at least one of every single release of Air Jordan Retros all the way up until 2012 when I packed up the collection for good. It was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the world's largest sneaker collection. And it was my pride and joy and my life's work for my first 30 years.
So what has happened? I mean, you obviously packed it up a little bit, I think, because there was the bots and there was just so many of the overhyped kind. I mean, it almost wasn't fun anymore, right?
It's changed a lot in recent times, and it's damn near impossible to get all the cool shoes when they come out. I mean, they release them in such limited supply. The demand is through the roof, and it's just impossible to keep up with Nike.
Right. So what do you think of Jordan shoes in general, purchasing game used shoes? We've talked before about like the foam and how they hold up. It is a real problem, isn't it?
It is, especially for certain models.
Like the one is awful, right?
Well, no, the ones do hold up over time. It's really the 2s and the 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. The 3 through the 6 has the visible air bubble, and over time, those things just really deteriorate, and the foam all around them.
Right. And let's show the people what you have. We have you sent us pictures of tell me about the Air Jordan 1. What is this?
So I own a pair of game-worn Air Jordan 1s. They're PEs, which stands for player exclusive. It's a different cut than what was released to the public. The public got a higher top version of the shoe back in 1985.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And Jordan also wore a 13 and a 13 and a half, which was the right shoe was a 13 and a half.
Yes, right was a 13.5, left a 13. I agree with Ken Golden and what he was saying earlier on in the broadcast, where he was saying that this stuff is just going to keep going up over time. And Michael Jordan is the Babe Ruth of basketball. I mean, Babe Ruth is the Michael Jordan of baseball, as far as I'm concerned. And I really think that the game-worn Air Jordans have yet to reach their peak. I think they'll keep going up, up, and up. And you look back to some of these cards that we were talking about that are selling for 6 figures, where it's got a piece of a patch of a jersey. I mean, come on, what's more iconic? The shoes that Michael laced up and wore,
Yeah.
or a little?
Yeah,
like,
I have a. That's why I have a personal. Yeah, I have a personal problem with the. I mean, like I'd rather have the jersey for less than what the card is going for. You know.
Totally.
I just think, you know, you need something. I mean, I love this that I got for $50 in 1990. You know, it's almost like I don't feel like I have enough Jordan stuff. I feel sick that I don't have enough Jordan stuff. But it is what it is. And then what else do you have? What's the other shoe that you have?
So I have with me, unfortunately, I don't have those game-worn ones with me. They're in the safe deposit box. But I have my most sentimental shoes, which are some Air Jordan 11s that Tinker Hatfield was kind enough to customize for my wife and I.
Oh, that's awesome.
For our wedding.
That's what you get from being a Nike influencer. I don't think Tinker's done that with anyone.
Yeah, these are spectacular and really special. And then, of course, since I was on with you, I had to break out my Jordan rookie.
There you go. What do you got in? Is that a 6 or 8? An 8.
It's an 8, which I'm quite proud of. And I got.
How many years ago did you buy that? And you got the
sticker as well. So I think you'll really appreciate this story. I had my bar mitzvah in 1990, and my parents allowed me to buy just one thing with the money that I got, and the rest of the money went into a savings account for my first car that I would get years later. And so the one thing that I bought was the 86 Fleer number 57 Michael Jordan rookie. At the time, it was $300. I sold that, sadly, and then rebought this one, which was PSA graded when I was in my 20s.
That's awesome. Jordy, thank you so much for joining. It's so good to see you in person. I hope we get out of this garbage soon. I hope everyone stays safe, and let us just smile tonight and enjoy the wonders of Jordan. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you got it. All right, so we are actually giving away that 88-89 Michael Jordan card from Vintage Breaks at 8:55. So stick with us for another 15 minutes or so. To enter, you have to hit !raffle. Is that right, Evan? Yes. So in the chat, !raffle, and we will give that away to a random person. So we've had an incredible show so far. We have Ken Golden, we've had Tim Duell, we've had Leighton Shelton, we had Jordy Geller, and we're just going to wait for Mike Glassbrenner, who we gave you guys an opportunity to get into the show if you had something that was amazing. We actually had George Karl send his 1992 autographed Olympic team, Dream Team jersey, which looked legit. But Mike's letter that he sent was pretty cool. You know, a story on the letters. Michael would sign things that you would send to him at Chicago Stadium. I know, because my brother and I did it from about 1986 to 1988. And then in about 1988, it stopped. I think the letters just kept piling up, but we got a fair amount of autographs, which we still have. But in the early going, you could definitely get through to Chicago Stadium in Jordan, stamped a confidential stamp on it, and it could go through. Oh, let's see here. We got all right. We have Mike Glassbrenner here. We're gonna bring him in, and he just had the most impressive piece of memorabilia. Just a cool piece, Mike.
Hey, how are you?
What's up?
I'm doing well.
thanks for joining us. You know, we had George Karl submit his 1992 signed Olympic team jersey, and I thought your item was more impressive. We're going to put it up on the screen. Tell me the story behind the letter.
Well, I think it goes back to, I think I was a sophomore in high school, and just for English project or English assignment, the teacher asked us to write some letters out to, 3-4 people, like people, and just to see if we could get something back in return. And so, I sent one out to obviously Michael Jordan.
So it's 83. Where are you? In what state?
I'm in Wisconsin.
Okay, so you're in Wisconsin. Jordan's a sophomore, right? 80. What is he? It's 83, 84. So
yeah,
it's
I think the date on the letter I got is December of 83.
Okay, so you might have even done it. You might have even sent it to him. So 82 was when they won the title. So yeah, so his sophomore year, and you think you're getting anything back?
No, I don't think any of us thought we were getting anything back. And so I think I sent it out. I don't remember the 4 people exactly. I remember the 2 I got something back from, and one was Michael Jordan, and the other one was Bobby Orr.
Okay, wow, that's a good that's a good get. Okay, and Jordan actually, it looked like it was like a typed up letter, right? And beautiful signed by Jordan.
Yeah, it's just a typed letter, and it looks. I've compared that signature to other ones that I've seen from that time period, and it looks like it, but I've never had anyone check the authenticity of it. Never brought it anywhere. I've just kind of hung on to it.
Right. So to see if it looks like a Jordan signature at the time. As to whether it was like a secretarial thing or if like someone from UNC signed it or well, I'm gonna as part of this. I know you might be nervous, but I'm gonna get someone to look at it like an authenticator, see if we can get it authenticated so you could know, right? I mean, that's one of the things it's kind of important. Maybe you don't want to know.
No, it'd be cool to know. I would appreciate that. That'd be. I've never.
Yeah, no, that's the way. I'll get all your information, and then we're gonna we'll put something out there just to see if it's real or not. Listen, it's so hard because there's I would say in the early 80s athletes weren't using auto pen. So like, I mean, politicians were, but athletes really weren't. I know that the stuff I was getting back from Chicago Stadium at 86, 87, 88 was real. So it might be real. I mean, and I love these projects. I hope my kids get these, send it out to someone famous, because my friend Brian, who's probably watching this right now, sent something out to Phil Knight and asked for a piece of his garbage. And Phil Knight sent him tons of shoe designs. I mean, that's the greatest project that you remember. So
the problem is trying to hang on to it too, because you just kind of you don't think much of it at the time.
Right. So tell me the history of hanging on to it, because it's you move a million times. So how have you hung on to it?
I took it. There's a few pinholes in the corners and stuff. So I used to pin it up on the wall in my rooms or wherever I lived and through college and stuff, and brought it with me. But then it ended up just getting put into a photo album, in the back of a photo album. And then, periodically I'd bring it out and show it to people or show it to somebody, show it to my kid. At one point in time, my wife moved it on me and I didn't know what it was. And I accused my kid of
stealing it and selling
it and getting rid of it or whatever kind of thing. But then, one time we were cleaning out the basement and I was like, oh yeah, there it is. It's just in this other stuff. And so it's just kind of misplaced, but yeah, but it's been, yeah. That's
how do you have any other piece of Michael Jordan memorabilia?
No, that's it. That's the only thing. Yeah.
How psyched are you for tonight?
I think it'll be good. I'm really looking forward to it because it's, as a kid, when I was growing up, we used to take ice cream pails and cut out the bottom on the thing for a basket. And it's like Naismith style and just nail that thing up to the wall in the basement. And then we put.
Oh yeah, I know those makeshift games.
To play with a Nerf hoop kind of thing. So, it's somebody, and it's a time period that, I really enjoyed watching college basketball, when I was a kid. So it's.
Mike Glassbrenner, thank you so much for joining us. That's an awesome piece. And I will follow up with you as to the authenticity.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, T-minus 12 until the last dance. You know, I was going over all these stories as part of my research for Twitter tonight. And one story that I'm going to tell, which I'll tell right now, which is just crazy. Evan Abrams, our producer, asked me about can we get Sirius, you know, from the Alan Parsons Project. We were talking about it, and I was thinking about it. And then I started looking up Ray Clay because I didn't know where the guy went. So Ray Clay in 1990 was the announcer for University of Illinois Chicago basketball. He got the job as the announcer of the Bulls, and he started in the 1989-90 playoffs. I mean, think about that timing. So then I got to an article that he was fired. And I was like, wow, where did Ray Clay go? He just fell off the face of the earth. He was there when I was in Chicago from 96 to 2000 at Northwestern. So here's the story, according to Jay Mariotti. I don't know if Jay is the greatest source, but Jay is the source here. And he was pretty tight in Chicago. So apparently, when the Wizards came to visit the Bulls in 2002, Jordan's last year, Ray Clay wanted to announce it from North Carolina, Michael Jordan. And the Bulls didn't want that. They wanted to announce from North Carolina, Michael Jordan, you know, like the opposing tone that he uses. And apparently it was enough of a fight that that's what led to him apparently getting fired, which is outrageous. Like, I love Jerry Reinsdorf and the Bulls, but like, no, on that night, you should introduce him like that. So that's one of the stories. And then the other story, and I'm just vamping until our giveaway at 8:55, but I promise these are great stories. The other story that got me is the coach from Laney High School in Wilmington. You know, Jordan didn't make it his sophomore year, and he got cut. That's what's said. But he actually didn't get cut. Leroy Smith, who was the 6'7" player who actually got the varsity spot. Jordan got junior varsity. Cut means like cut, like he was never on the varsity and then got cut. That coach who was 26, I mean, it essentially ruined his life. Crazy. Because it was all about the guy who cut Michael Jordan. And he died this past December, but like, and Jordan's had a back and forth with that, like whether, you know, that motivated him, but then was it true or not? It's kind of an interesting thing. All right. So we're going to go. I want everyone to have an awesome time watching The Last Dance. Please watch my Twitter feed, the Action Network Twitter feed. We're giving this card away at 8:55 in 4 minutes. Exclamation point raffle. Twitch will do it for us. We'll get your information and you'll win something Jordan. Man, if you don't have to pay for something Jordan, that's a good deal. And just enjoy, and hopefully this spirit leads into more live sports. I feel like it's the Super Bowl. I'm so excited. I hope you've enjoyed our show tonight, and have a good night and enjoy.